those who have expressed dependencies on lip balm have developed a desire of how the lips feel directly after application. She also mentions that a variety of lip balm flavors may also directly cause lip balm dependency, as a person may want to lick their lips and taste the flavor. Stimulant laxatives stimulate the muscles that line your gut, helping them move your poo along to your, quote, back passage. The FDA also warns people that in some cases, over-the-counter products are marketed that they would treat serious eye conditions like glaucoma, cataracts, retinopathy, or macular degeneration. The FDA wants you to know that no over-the-counter solution is available for those, and you should seek medical advice. Benjamin Green, an airman and later a pharmacist, invented Red Vet Pet, which is short for Red Veterinary Petroleum, for the U.S. military.
Welcome to the 265th episode of Tennis Podcast. I'm here today with the 265th choice on my list of available sidekick hosts today, Dr. Buster.
I would love to see the whole list of 264 people. I want to see who I rank behind. But more importantly, I want to see number 266 to see whose ass I whooped in the rankings.
Well, 265 is actually as far as the ranking goes. I don't know more than 265 people.
I got last.
You got last. I was trying to say it in a more polite way.
So were they all busy today at this time, or?
Some of them are dead. Some of them don't have cell phones because they're homeless people that I've seen.
You could probably just take a two-way recorder out to the gravesite near their tombstone, and you host the list and have them guess it. And I would bet some people would still find that to be a better episode than what I'm about to do here.
Well, I think that dead person would do better. They at least wouldn't do worse than you guessing the list, for sure.
That's true. We would both need the same amount of hints to get through a list.
Yeah, well, speaking of hints, Buster, it's the 265th episode, like I said, a monumental episode. So what amazing, worth our time, super important list did you bring to enlighten our collective minds today?
What are you hinting at?
I'm just saying it better be good, it better be important.
Well, you said speaking of hints as like a segue, but I didn't catch a hint in there.
All right. Are you my fucking English professor gonna critique the way I speak? I just say shit. I just say shit.
Do you host a podcast or not?
Sometimes I wonder.
Well, it makes two of us. I often wonder if I host this show as well, which I think I do.
I know. I'm not gonna walk into this bit again. So
it's been a while. We should reprise an oldie but a goodie.
You know, sometimes bits they ride high for a while. I would argue this one never did, but bits in general sometimes will ride high. But you got to know when to step away from the bit.
You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. I'd say the same about bitches too.
Oh, god damn. Fuck.
They're good for a while, but get them out of here.
Hot take. Jesus. Sorry to all the bitches out there listening.
Well, if they're a bitch, they've already unsubscribed, and there aren't any bitches listening to the show, so.
Yeah.
Because
that's probably why our numbers are so low right now.
Anyone who's as good of a moral character as someone who listens to the Tennis Pod, we would not refer to you as a bitch out there. So don't worry, I wasn't referring to you.
Gotcha. Yeah. That's a good clarification. Now, enough Stalin. Tell me the damn list.
Stalin? Are we going to be talking about World War II today?
Top 10 bitches.
Top 10 bitches that...
Stalin would be on that list.
That done worn out their welcome.
Stalin, again. Stalin would be on every version of this list.
Okay. Well, Nick, what do the three letters OTC make you think of? What does that bring to mind?
That's some brand, isn't it? Isn't that a company?
It is in a few brand names, yeah. Do you remember what brands have OTC in the end of their name?
Oh, at the end of their name?
Prilosec OTC.
Yes. Oh, I fucking take that sometimes. Okay, I know that one. Yeah.
Okay. What is that?
That's well, the medicine is for like acid reflux, right? Am I thinking of the right thing?
Yep. You're on it. Yep.
Over the counter.
Absolutely.
Over the counter is OTC.
Over the counter, folks.
Okay.
He can do it and has done it.
Meanwhile, everyone who pressed play on this episode however many minutes ago already knew this topic, and they're just looking at their watches, waiting for Dr. Buster to get to the fucking point. But we're still not there, so
that's how we do it,
tight.
folks. Yes. Now,
over the counter.
Over the counter. What does that mean, Nick?
It means you're standing near a counter, and someone reaches over a counter to hand you something over the counter because you're on the other side of the counter from them. If you were on the same side of the counter as them, you'd need a different acronym because over the counter wouldn't work. You'd be
It'd
like
be
beside the counter.
NTC, near the counter.
Yeah, near the counter.
OTC drugs include those you can buy from a drugstore, grocery store, or a convenience store. Now, what gets classified as an OTC drug is often contentious, with some people advocating for some drugs to no longer be available for over-the-counter use and some to be included. Now, why is over-the-counter, why is that a general term for a group of medicines? What's the opposite of that?
So over-the-counter medications are medications that you can buy without a prescription. You can just walk into a pharmacy or a store, pick up the medicine and leave. Whereas the opposite is a prescription medication that, and I don't know if there's an acronym for that, but the opposite is a prescription medication where you do need a note from a doctor saying, this person needs this medication, here's the dosage and the duration.
So there you go, folks. Today, Nick is going to be guessing the 10 top-selling over-the-counter medicines. Now, if we just did the top 10 by the amount of revenue that each specific marketed brand had, it might be a boring list because there'll probably be repeated ailments in there. We mentioned Prilosec OTC. That is one
Some
drug.
could argue it's going to be a boring list either way, but yes.
Because we know who brought the list. Some people, if you've even downloaded it, you're probably so hesitant to even start listening to it because you already know it's going to be a bullshit list full of boring anecdotes because Buster's hosting this week, but fuck it, we're here.
Damn, fucking preach it. Jesus, yes.
So you're going to have to guess the top 10 categories by what ailment they're trying to treat or help.
Okay, so then I'm not guessing the specific medication, I'm guessing the ailment.
Correct. So your guess would not be Prilosec OTC, but what is Prilosec trying to help somebody get rid of? Or
acid reflux.
Okay.
Well, I fucking sure hope at least that you're about to tell me how this is measured.
It is measured by the billions of dollars from total revenue from this group of medicines.
Okay. So then, just so I'm super clear, and I'm an idiot, if I were to guess acid reflux, then every over-the-counter medication that treats that ailment is grouped together by revenue in the ranking for this list.
You got it.
Right?
They'd all
so
be
it's
together.
like the ailment that generates the most revenue for over-the-counter medication manufacturers.
If there were over-the-counter medicines for an itchy butthole,
there fucking is.
Then there might be, and the plan feels good on the whole. Preparation H. If that was a guess, right? Then your guess would be itchy anus, and then the group would be all the medicines that cure it.
All right.
So for some comparison numbers perspective, number 10 today has a total revenue in America of $1.6 billion, and number 1 is a leader by far at $11.6 billion. So we're in between 11.6 and 1.6.
I'm guessing that's annual revenue.
That's annual revenue in the United States.
I'm gonna nail it. I'm gonna fucking acid reflux this list right up.
Now, one other thing I want to tell you. We're gonna roll our eyes at some of the inclusions on this list. Some of these things are gonna be like, that's a household item, that's not a medicine. And I might agree with you, but we could make an argument.
Well, I plan on arguing. Don't worry.
I fucking
that's
know
like,
that.
That's the show. It's fucking arguing. I just need your sources, and then I'm ready.
Yes, that's what you had interrupted me by trying to say. How rude. Okay, we got the Consumer Healthcare Products Association, CHPA. That is the actual ranking of the list. I've got anecdotes from Very Well Health, the FDA, National Health Service, and our friends at Wikipedia, who do such a good job at explaining the mundane.
Fucking love Wikipedia. I fucking love itchy buttholes, and I love acid reflux and everything we're going to talk about today.
Itchy buttholes and acid reflux. You might have just described my upcoming weekend. We've yet to see.
Buster is a person that legitimately carries Tums with him everywhere he goes. So
not Tums, but Pepto-Bismol. You're
sorry,
close.
Pepto. Yeah. Okay, well, am I ready to correctly guess the list in order? Or is there any other bullshit?
Sure, you can try.
So let's say this is America. There's medications for fucking everything. Now, we got to remember, too, I'm talking to me and the listeners here. We got to remember that even though some things require a prescription, there's still weaker over-the-counter versions of those things, like pain medication, for example. There's prescription pain and there's over-the-counter pain.
Yes. And then there's the type of pain that you get when you cross me.
All right, we're all going to ignore that you said that, and let's start with the first thing we talked about, acid reflux. I'm going to guess that acid reflux is in the bottom half of the top 10, and I'm going to guess that's...
Well, he's wrong already, folks.
Okay, so I haven't guessed officially then. Let's say the first half of the top 10, because I guess that would include your Peptos and your Tums and your Prilosec.
Tums.
That's not how it goes? Oh, there you go. Okay, all right. I'll say number 3.
Close. No cigar comes in at number 5.
Knew it.
Now, many people mix up acid reflux with the actual leading term for this category, and that would be heartburn.
Heartburn. Okay.
Heartburn, number 5, coming in at $2.2 billion of annual revenue.
I know all about heartache and heartbreak.
Yeah, you do it to me on a weekly basis every time I listen to the show. Heartburn, also known as acid indigestion, is a burning sensation in the central chest or upper central abdomen. If you didn't know, it's usually due to regurgitation of gastric acid, also known as gastric reflux,
Yummy.
in the esophagus. It's the major symptom of gastroesophageal reflux disease, also known as GERD. Now,
your boy got that.
When people talk about including the English language into a subset of romantic languages with like Spanish and Italian, I think the word GERD might be one of the things that people could use to vote not to include English as a romantic language.
Yeah. I'm sorry. So if someone were to if there was a voting committee on do we include English in romantic language or not? And the argument for not would be well, look at this fucking word GERD.
They get to GERD and they're like, yeah, I don't think it's going to make it. Now, the National Institute of Health wants people to know that heartburn has nothing to do with a heart attack, except they both cause discomfort in your chest that can sometimes be severe.
Yeah, it actually has nothing to do with the heart. It just you feel it in the heart region. So kind of got the name heartburn.
It's more your esophagus. Heartburn and indigestion are not the same. Indigestion is discomfort in your stomach after you eat. Party of one right here. It also can be a symptom of other digestive problems.
This was never an issue for me until I hit my 30s, and then all shit fell through the floor.
Do you want to bore us? Should I break out the world's smallest violin? Should we start a GoFundMe for your acid reflux problems? I mean, god damn. I've never heard of someone...
I don't need to GoFundMe, but everyone can go sign up at tennispod.com/plus, and that would heal me up real good.
That will instantly, it will vanquish his acid reflux.
Maybe you have this in your notes, but I suspect that this issue of heartburn, indigestion, acid reflux, GERD, any of that, GERD. It's not, anyone named Bert, it's kind of it's not that much better.
Well, my fucking name's not Bert, and I'm glad for it. Sorry to any of our Bert listeners
Bert,
out there.
Just fucking unsubscribe.
Or if your name is GERD or Gertrude. I'm sorry. It's just not...
Gert. Didn't think about that one.
GERD. It's kind of like gout. I got the gout.
I got the GERT.
It's like, if anyone tells me they're suffering from gout, I have a hard time not laughing, and I have to try to sympathize with them. Just the word is so funny.
If you got gout, get out.
Okay.
But
That's
as I was saying,
rude.
I think all these things that have to do with, the way your stomach or your esophagus reacts to this shit, I have to assume this wasn't really an issue for humans until modern diets, right?
I would agree. And if people did have upset tummies and indigestion 1,000 years ago, it's probably far less severe. There's so much processed bullshit, extra fatty, extra salted, unnecessarily flavored stuff that probably wrecks our tummies.
They had their own issues, like eating raw meat and shit probably didn't do them wonders, but I think that's a separate thing. That's going to cause other issues, but I don't know. I ain't no expert, bub.
Common brands of heartburn medicine include Maalox, Prevacid, Nexium, Prilosec, Tums, Rolaids, Pepcid, and Gaviscon. There are 3 types of heartburn meds. Antacids, they neutralize stomach acid. H2 blockers reduce the amount of acid that the stomach produces. And then PPIs, also funny, proton pump inhibitors, because I'm mature, block an enzyme in the stomach lining that produce acid. So one neutralizes it, one reduces the amount of stomach acid. and then the other one blocks an enzyme from it being produced in the first place.
Yeah.
Now, please, it says underneath H2 blockers or antacids, please check with your doctor before taking over-the-counter medicine because it may react with other prescription meds you might be taking.
It's probably not a bad idea for all of these, honestly. But
yeah, it is kind of a reminder on the top here that over-the-counter medicines, even though you can just walk in and buy them anywhere, they have the potential for overuse and overdose. They may interact with other drugs. They may cause allergies for you, and they may not be appropriate for children, people who are pregnant, or people with liver or kidney problems.
Well, fuck, I need to rethink things, because for breakfast every day, I just give my kids, instead of a bowl of cereal, I give them a bowl of fucking antacids. And
well, good. Keep their asses shutting up from not bitching about their upset tummies and, oh, my heartburn.
Keep their bitch asses shutting up. Okay. Buster's parenting advice. Are we ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, this one is interesting because this one is only used by, roughly 50% of the population. The female, where my girls at? Girls, let's hear it. Where my girls at? Girls rule the world. And they also have menstrual cramps. And I'm going to say menstrual cramps or medication to treat that is number 7.
It is in the top 10, but I'll let you recalibrate your guess when I tell you that menstrual cramp medicine is being lumped in with all oral analgesics, which is like anything you take in pill form by the mouth that would reduce pain.
Oh, pain relief. So does that include like anti-inflammatory and all that shit?
Mm-hmm.
Like
pain,
fever reduction?
Ibuprofen, Tylenol,
that's got to be number 1.
Is that your guess?
Well, hey, okay. What could be higher than that? Oh, because you said like household items. Are we including shit like toothpaste in this list?
Well, hold on. One guess at a time, brother.
All right, bub. Well, given that all right. Well, then it's not number 1. We'll go number 2 or 3.
Number 2, he does it again, folks.
Fucking knew it.
At $4.9 billion, oral analgesics.
Oral anal? What?
Is an oral and anal sex act in which one person stimulates the anus of another by using their tongue or lips.
Whoa. Wrong list.
Whoops. Yeah, those are my notes for my next meeting. Sorry. An analgesic drug, also simply known as an analgesic, a pain reliever or painkiller, is any member of a group of drugs used for pain management. Analgesics are distinct from anesthetics, which temporarily reduce and in some instances eliminate sensation, although analgesia and anesthesia overlap. They have similar effects, but it is conceptually distinct.
So interesting. Wow. And, the most interesting part is, you're making fun of these English words like GERD, and gout. But there's also, like, every medication out there has stupid fucking words, too.
Sure. They're very long and complex.
Right. Like, they're just trying to show off their fancy degrees because they think they're better than us. Dr. Buster, you're one of them.
But then they give them a very easily marketed name.
Sometimes, even the marketing name sometimes is weird. I mean, it's
sure.
better, but weird. Anyway.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean, we mentioned a few. Almost gave away Clue to another category.
Zyrtec, allergy medication. We'll get there, bub.
We'll get there. All right, oral analgesics. They treat headache, backaches, menstrual pain, toothaches, and just plain getting old.
Butt pain, dick
I wrote
pain,
that down.
Giny pain,
booty pain,
boobie pain.
This can be either acute or chronic pain. It works for both. It seems like the first widely marketed and sold oral analgesic, the active ingredient, was paracetamol. When do you think that paracetamol was invented?
And this is an oral tablet.
Yeah, it's an oral analgesic. How far back do you think we'd have to go before you could go to the store and buy something that's similar to Tylenol or ibuprofen?
I'm being pulled both ways because I could see it going way back and I could also see it being a relatively recent thing. I'm going to say the 20th century, like early 20th century, early 1900s.
Okay. I was surprised. And this is going to span across many of our categories. And it's kind of led me to reinforce something that I've already thought before. We'll kind of get into that later in the list. But paracetamol was not invented until 1950 and wasn't widely sold and marketed until 1952.
So if you were in pain before 1952, sorry about you, bub. Fucking grab a bottle of your favorite drink and try to numb the pain that way.
Can you imagine? And some people alive today can imagine because they were alive back then. But holy shit. No pain meds anytime before 1950.
They had other like pain relief things, like I don't know, they had creams and shit. They're probably not nearly as effective, but like it's not like there was nothing before 1952.
Nothing that was quite as effective, I would imagine.
No, I'm sure you're right.
Unless you needed like some sort of surgery or something, or a stronger opioid. I'm not sure, because those aren't over-the-counter medicines, so I don't know the timeline for those. But
they had morphine before 1952. I'm positive, but
we're both medical experts, and this is we're definitely shedding light on the history of medicine here.
Buster is a doctor, but he's not a medical doctor, if anyone wasn't clear on that. Morphine and other prescription things that are prescription now were not always prescription in the past. So there's that to think about too. But you know what I always think about is like, imagine being a caveman, or even just someone in the Middle Ages, or just someone before modern history. People are still shitting in the street. They don't have clean shoes or clean drinking water. All that shit sucks. But now what if you get heartburn back then? Shit out of luck, bub.
Dude, we're going to keep talking about that all day today. I cannot believe how recent.
Allergy relief?
Essentially, all of these are.
Yeah, simple shit that we take for granted. Like, you didn't know any better, though. Like, you didn't know there was relief from your allergy, for example.
And with someone who has a little kiddo, and that little kiddo has gotten very sick multiple times in the last 18 months, and we've had Tylenol and ibuprofen to help her through it, oof, my heart goes out to every parent who either A, today doesn't have access to any pain meds to help their children through fevers and such, or any parent before 1950 when they just didn't have access.
So when you say Tylenol and ibuprofen and pain relief, what you really mean is poison. That you're poisoning your children with corporate, big pharma bullshit and you're implanting 5G in your daughter's body and you don't even care. Wow.
And just a corporate chill. Another fingernail on big pharma's toe.
We know you like to listen to Tennis Podcast, but now it's time to wear it. TennisPod.com/merch has all of your merch needs. We have new designs that let the world know you're a sidekick host, or that your loved one should just go ahead and unsubscribe. All these and more are available to wear on your tight little body right now. We also have designs for the licking machine, your body elves, and many others. We even have one that proves you have one hell of an ass. We have shirts available for all sexes and multiple colors available, as well as mugs, hoodies, and hats. And to help you get started, I have a special discount for you. Use promo code BUTT for 10% off your next order. That's promo code BUTT at tennispod.com/MERCH. Don't be a butt. Shop now. Fucking knew it. All right. Well, are we ready to move on?
Sure.
Let's talk allergy. Allergy relief.
Let's talk allergy.
It's got to be big. It's not going to be number one. I'm thinking, don't tell me, but I'm thinking number one's going to be some bullshit like toothpaste or some shit like that. So we'll go allergy relief at number 4.
Okay. I'm going to let you recalibrate your guess by telling you that allergy medicines are lumped into
cold and flu.
Cold and flu because it all impacts upper respiratory is the category.
Number 3 then.
He says number 3 and he misses again.
Number 1?
Number 1.
Okay, I should have known.
Number 1 at 11.6 billion. Now I do think it's all the way up here at number 1 because what we'll talk about, I'll just cover this right now. The number of allergy sufferers who use over-the-counter medicines at least twice a year has gone up from 66% in 1980 to 82% in 2022. So 8 out of 10 people are spending over-the-counter money on allergy medicine, okay? So then you got to add on top of that everyone who gets sick or has a head cold, any sort of flu, a cough, a runny nose, stuffy nose, hoarseness, congestion, fever, body aches, ear inflammation, loss of smell, post-nasal drip, or wheezing.
Some of this is chicken and the egg kind of shit, right? Like, I don't know where I want to go with this, because it's like some of our needs for medication, or perceived need for medication at least, is the environment we live in now. I think we talked about, by the way, we did a top 10 allergens episode. I don't remember what number it was, but, within the last year probably. And I think we talked on that episode about how allergies weren't as big of a deal in the past as they are now. There's more allergens around us. And then our modern diets that we talked about a few minutes ago, like modern diets and eating habits, I think affect these things. So it's like these are almost self-inflicted pollution, things like that. Just all these things that humans have done to themselves and the environment are making us feel or legitimately need more medication more often. And Big Pharma's laughing all the way to the bank, bub.
I think you got a point there. I also want to remind us that when someone sneezed 100 years ago, people thought that they were dispelling demons. And if you got a head cold, many people thought that you weren't right with God and it was time to go say more prayer and for forgiveness and things like that. We just didn't understand all of these ailments that now someone would say, yeah, go get some Mucinex and cough up this phlegm so you don't get pneumonia, instead of, hey, my aunt's been a bitch last year and now she's been stricken with sickness because she's unsufferable.
That's a good point, too.
Yeah, like
some of that depends on where you lived in the world, 100 years ago and all that. But I think by 100 years ago they fucking knew it wasn't demons.
Okay, maybe 200 years ago.
Maybe 200 years ago.
Growing up in Oklahoma, there's still plenty of interesting beliefs that sort of
what one would call old wives' tales as well about how to treat those things.
Yes, that does not respect the discovered findings in the last 100 years of medicine or science.
Speak English, doc. We ain't scientists.
Upper respiratory includes nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx, trachea. It's your throat and above.
Love that throat and above.
Baby.
Oh, baby.
Common medicines include Flonase, Afrin, Mucinex, Benadryl, Allegra, Claritin, Zyrtec, Sudafed, Nasacort, and Robitussin.
Goddamn.
Robitussin, I barely know her.
You're not allowed to use that joke because you never use it right. But also, that you just named like those are the big ones, but they are way more than that. Like, this is a huge industry,
Yep.
And this is just American revenue, $11 billion.
Yeah, just a plug from the NIH here. Vaccines against many of these common viruses can help protect you and may prevent them from being more serious by the time you would need to order an over-the-counter medicine.
Okay, liberal, fucking hippie. All right.
Yeah, a.k.a. Bill Gates is trying to inject you with 5G. That's what I really meant to say. So don't take it. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Cannot give to children younger than 4 years of age. And my goodness, have I had some overnight experiences where I couldn't wait to be able to give our little young one some medicine to help her get through her head colds when she's 4 years old. Because otherwise, you're just using Tylenol, you're stepping into the shower for a shower steam or hanging out in a steamy bathroom to help her breathe, wiping that nose every 30 seconds. Parents know it's a long road.
Well, if you didn't want to do it, you shouldn't have been a daddy buster, right?
One of the first upper respiratory active ingredient treatments, diphenhydramine. Nick, when do you think diphenhydramine was discovered?
So, pain relief medication in oral form over the counter was 1952.
This is the active ingredient in Benadryl. So let's just say, how far back do you think you have to go before you could go in and buy some allergy relief in the
I'm
stove?
trying to think, like, what did humans prioritize, back in the old days? Did they prioritize finding relief for pain or finding relief for upper respiratory? And I'm going to guess upper respiratory came before 1952. So I'll say 20th century, but before 52.
1940. It was discovered on accident. A chemical engineer at the University of Cincinnati was doing research into muscle relaxants because he was trying to find a new way to get his grad students to tell him yes.
It got dark quick.
But 6 years later, Benadryl in 1946 was approved by the FDA for prescription use, but it did not become an over-the-counter medicine until 1982.
Wow, 1982.
Yeah, right. 82. That's not very long ago.
No, fuck. I mean,
my mom was in her mid-20s before you could buy Benadryl at the store.
That is, it's crazy. The shit today in 2024, the shit around us that feels like it's been around forever, it's always been there. We just take it for granted. Even running water and shit, like, wasn't that long ago. There's just so many things we take for granted now. And an example, too, is the internet, which, started to become popular around the time we were kids. And now we can't imagine our lives without it. And kids being born today We'll never know a life without internet. Well, until the fucking world ends.
Or you tell them that you're going on a camping trip for 3 nights and they're not taking the phone or tablet, and then they think about putting themselves up for adoption to get out of your household.
Right.
Yeah, how quickly things can come into existence and then become a cultural assumption is staggering. It really takes one generation.
Yeah, you're right. That was the point I was trying to make, is like almost overnight, this thing wasn't there before in society, and now it's everywhere, and now it's like borderline a requirement.
Right. It's almost like you couldn't make a good point. You needed someone else to say it for you. Yeah. Okay. As long as we're on the same page.
Same page, I hardly know her.
Okay. Only one per episode.
All right, well then, what do we have? So we got heartburn at number 5, pain relief is what I wrote down at number 2, and upper respiratory at number 1.
And folks, I'm going to guess that that's because Nick doesn't know how to spell analgesics. So he wrote down pain relief.
I know how to spell part of that word, but not the rest. Okay. Well, what are the other big ones? So, are vitamins on this list? Like something like that?
Vitamins or not? No.
You know, when all the shit's lumped together, it kind of makes it harder to guess, because like pain relief and menstrual cramps and a bunch of other stuff is all grouped together. Same with upper respiratory, cold medicine with allergy, so that really kind of narrows things down. So
yeah, I would say.
What about like laxatives?
Okay, there we go. What number do you think it is on the list?
That's going to be like maybe constipation or something. Maybe it's broader than that.
Poop.
Speaking of itching assholes, we'll go. I mean, fuck, that's hard. I'll say
it's
I'll say
hard, yes,
8.
and we're trying to soften it up with some laxatives.
Number 8.
Number 8, close. 6. Number 6. 1.97 billion.
How are we categorizing that? Like, what is this category called? Is it just
laxatives?
Oh, okay. Well, the other ones, laxatives is the solution, not the ailment.
Oh, that's true. Well, we done flipped that up on its head.
I remember my first top 10 list too, fucking 6 years ago.
Here we go. Yep.
Go ahead. Fuck, Jesus Christ. You think I got all day to sit here and watch you stare at me?
I thought you were talking to somebody else.
No, talking to your fucking ass.
So, Nick, tell the folks at home, what's a laxative?
A laxative is something you take when you want to empty your soul of its contents. Depending on the amount of laxatives you take, the more of you is taken from inside of you and put
that is true.
Inside of something else. Hopefully a toilet. Might happen elsewhere too. Toilets are, I think, the intended target most of the times, but again, depending on how much you take, part of you will be gone from you after a laxative.
There is no question you will be a transformed individual on the other side of a strong bout of laxative usage.
You will transform.
According to Wikipedia,
I think you'll be like an anamorph. Like the top of the book cover, like when they're a person still, is you before laxatives. After laxatives, you go through the steps to become whatever fucking, owl or whatever animal you transform into.
I think it would just be a piece of poop. Can you imagine the story of a kid who could transform into a piece of shit? I mean, it would be effective.
I do some pieces of shit for sure.
Yeah, we went to school with a few of them. Yeah, because you'd get overlooked if you're just a piece of poop sitting on the floor. No one's going to suspect that you're there trying to solve a murder mystery. You're just a piece of shit and hanging out on the ground.
And when you get your anamorph powers, you're looking around being like, okay, that guy he anamorphed into a lion. This guy anamorphed into a bear. She anamorphed into a bird. I can't wait to see what I'm going to anamorph into. And then you open your eyes and you're a fucking piece of shit on the ground.
But you are so much...
Solve a murder, Buster said.
Well, hold on. What were the anamorphs supposed to do? Like, what were the kids supposed to do with their powers?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they were mystery. Maybe.
Were they fighting crime?
We need to read one. We look at the covers so damn often. We need to actually read one of these fucking things sometime.
I think that's a good bonus episode. We do like a Goodreads review of an Animorph book and read the plot summary.
Well, I already have planned. You probably don't know this yet, but I have planned for you and I to react to Animorph covers on a bonus episode soon. So maybe either separately or as part of that, we can actually read the fucking thing too.
Well, according to Wikipedia, laxatives are substances that loosen stools and increase bowel movements.
Oh, that's kind of what I said. That's what I said. Take your soul out.
They're used to treat and prevent constipation. Laxatives vary how they work and the side effects they may have. Certain stimulants, lubricants, and saline laxatives are used to evacuate the colon for rectal and bowel examinations, or if you're just plugged up. Common brands are Dulcolax, Colace, Lactulose, Senecot, Castor Oil, Miralax, Magnesium Citrate, and Docusate.
So confused on what constipation is. You never specified.
It's when you can't poop for one reason or another.
Why is it important to do that?
Well,
what happens if you can't?
You get super uncomfortable and you can actually go septic and die, right?
Well,
if you don't shit for long enough.
I don't believe in shitting, and I'm still here.
Now, National Health Service wants to remind us there are 4 main types of laxatives. Now, these are direct quotes from the National Health Service website. I copy-pasted it directly because of the phrasing. 1. Bulk-forming laxatives work by increasing the weight of your poo, which in turn stimulates your bowels.
Okay, all right.
Osmotic.
The weight of the poo. You never thought about weighing your poo, but putting it on scale.
Why didn't we just attach some like lead balls to the end of your turds and they just slide right out of you because they weigh more?
Why didn't we do that? Yeah. I mean, you got to surgically open you up to implant the
if someone
balls.
told me before I made this list that laxatives work because it makes your poop heavier, I would laugh and be like, you're an idiot. That is not the way it works. Turns out, fact checks.
Folks at home, now you can, it's your next dinner party when you're making small talk and you're trying to impress the people around you, say, did you know the more your shit weighs, I actually would have guessed the opposite. The more your shit weighs, the harder it is to get out of you. But
right,
I guess it weighs it down like an anchor and makes it slide on out.
You're letting gravity do its work.
Yeah, fuck.
My wife reminds me that one way to speed up trying to poop if you're constipated is just to walk around. Just let gravity take its course.
Yeah, but what do wives know? Am I right?
No comment on that. Number 2. Osmotic laxatives draw water from the rest of the body into your bowel to soften the poo and make it easier to pass. Now, no bullshit. That's actually super interesting. You take a medicine, it draws water from the rest of your extremities and concentrates it to your bowel. Like, that's kind of cool. Someone figured that out.
I don't know how they figured that shit out, but I'm glad they did.
3. Stimulant laxatives stimulate the muscles that line your gut, helping them move your poo along to your, quote, back passage. Okay.
I'm very familiar with the back passage. So,
first of all, the National Health Service calls it poo, and they call your anus the back passage. And
what do you want to do?
I laugh at the... Well, that's true. There's no good way to explain it medically. I mean, they could use they could say anus.
Yeah, but they don't got fucking Harvard doctors reading their damn website. Some bitches already know. They got to explain this to the common folk like you and I.
I also like the visual image that the laxative just turns your colon into like Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it's like, oh yeah, we're going to press this out. And you're like, oh, excuse me, sir. I need to go to the restroom.
What? Arnold's in there squeezing your fucking gut muscles until the shit pops out.
And then it shoots out of your back passage with such force that it dents the toilet bowl.
Depends how much the sumbitch weighs, too. If you got a heavy one. Might fly on through the floor completely.
Might become a public safety hazard. It's like a gun.
I always am, though.
You never point a loaded gun in anyone's direction. The last one. Poo softener laxative. This type of laxative works by letting water into the poo to soften it and make it easier to pass. Okay, give us another guess.
Oh, fuck. All right, well, we've covered pain, we've covered allergies, we've covered cold, we've covered constipation, we've covered heartburn and eating.
The rest of these are kind of, I don't think you'd guess that they're medicines, but technically they are. They're your average, everyday household type things.
Okay, so I said toothpaste earlier. Are they considering like,
toothpaste is on the list.
Yeah. So like dental hygiene as the category or something, and that's got to be number 3 then.
God damn, he's good, folks. Number 3. Toothpaste number 3 at 3.6 billion.
I'm actually surprised it's that low.
Toothpaste is a paste or gel dentrifice. Did I say that right? Yeah. Used with a toothbrush to clean and maintain the aesthetics and the health of your teeth. Toothpaste promotes oral hygiene. It's an abrasive that aids in removing dental plaque and food from the teeth. It suppresses halitosis and delivers active ingredients to help prevent tooth decay and gum disease, also known as gingivitis. When do you think The Colgate Company first introduced mass-marketed toothpaste to the consumer.
Oh, man. See, this is another one like we were talking about earlier where it's like, you can't imagine the world without toothpaste now, or at least our spoiled asses here
Just think,
developed
before
countries.
this year that I'm about to say, nobody brushed their teeth.
So I'm going to assume like dental floss was first, or they at least used toothpicks and shit. They scraped their teeth, I think. But they also didn't get cavities because they didn't have sugar and shit in their food.
Okay, good point there. I will go ahead and read this anecdote before you guess. Since 5000 BC, the Egyptians made a tooth powder, which consisted of powdered ashes of ox hooves, myrrh, powdered and burnt eggshells, and pumice, and they would use their finger and grind it against their teeth. Great that the oral hygiene started 7,000 years ago.
Yeah, because a big indicator today that someone needs to brush their teeth is their bad breath, right? But back then, in the ancient Egyptian days, fucking everything smelled all the time. How could you'd think they wouldn't even notice because their body smells, the world around them smells, they're shitting in the streets. You would think that a bad breath, they wouldn't even really notice it. But maybe it might have been more like tooth pain, maybe that was kind of the instigator. Anyway, to your question, when did toothpaste first start being mass marketed by Colgate? I'll say 1920s.
This one surprised me. It went a little bit further back, 1873.
Wow. Okay.
But still, that means like Civil War and before, nobody was brushing their teeth. Nobody.
Not with toothpaste, at least.
They might have been like rubbing their like rags and stuff on their teeth to try to clean them, but it wasn't doing as good a job as Colgate. I can tell you that.
I wonder when gum and mints came around, but we don't need to go on that.
They're not on the list. Gum nor mints.
Toothpaste. Well, bub, I'm glad we got it.
The Greeks and the Romans also improved Egyptian designs, and they added certain abrasives such as crushed bones and oyster shells. So it would do some of the mechanical force for you as you rubbed your fingers back and forth, but they also use sort of a tooth powder. And in the 9th century, there's evidence that Iraqi citizens also use some type of you can't call it toothpaste, like a tooth powder, and they'd rub it against their teeth with their fingers.
Well, it's good because we're already putting crushed bones in our mouths anyway. Might as well use it to clean your teeth. Interesting. This is one of those topics that the average person never thinks about. The toothpaste, who gives a shit about when it was invented and all that and what people did before it, but it is interesting when you start to hear about it.
And from the Civil War and before, nobody had ever used toothpaste.
Same with toilet paper. Is toilet paper on this list?
That's right. Oh, it's not. It would be classified as a medicine, like toothpaste would,
No, but yeah, but I believe toilet paper is a relatively new thing.
All right, we got one other thing in the dental hygiene category. Not toothbrush, but
mouthwash.
Mouthwash.
Okay.
Coming in at what number?
I don't think it's going to be 4. I'll say 7.
Close. 8.
Knew it.
Oral antiseptics, 1.9 billion. Mouthwash, mouth rinse, oral rinse, or also known as mouth bath. Done that before. Is a liquid which is, who calls it that? Is a liquid which is held in the mouth passively or swirled around the mouth by contraction of the perioral muscles and or movement of the head, and may be gargled where the head is tilted back and the liquid bubbled at the back of the mouth.
Would you stop? This is Wikipedia, right?
Mm-hmm.
I fucking knew it.
There are 2 types of mouth rinse: cosmetic for bad breath and good taste, and therapeutic, which actually helps fight plaque, gingivitis, and all the big baddie waddies that trying to hide out in your teeth and gums.
The big baddie waddies in your teeth, yeah. Who isn't thinking about those?
Listerine, Scope, hydrogen peroxide, many common mouthwashes are out there.
Do people use hydrogen peroxide for that?
Yeah, well, in some of them it's an active ingredient.
Oh, okay.
But I think other people just go straight to the source.
Because I use that on my boo-boos, but not on my oral hygiene.
Usually mouthwashes are antiseptic solutions intended to reduce the microbial load in your mouth. Cue jokes here. Additionally, some rinses act as saliva substitutes to neutralize mouth acid and keep the mouth moist if you have dry mouth conditions.
And I do love to keep mouths moist when they're... All right, the joke's dead. But
children younger than the age of 6 should not use a mouth rinse unless directed by a dentist, because they're idiots and they might swallow large amounts of the liquid on accident.
Kids are fucking stupid. Can't fucking do anything right.
All right. How far back do you think that chlorhexidine, which is one of the first active ingredients in mouthwash, when do you think it was invented?
So if toothpaste was I think you said 1873.
Yeah, something like that, 1870s.
On one hand, I could see this existing before, as like this is what they had before toothpaste. On the other hand, I could see it being like, well, now that we have toothpaste, what other shit can we think of for a mouth? I'll go with the latter and say between 1900 and 1910.
This was a lot later, 1960. Crazy. 1960. Harold Lowe demonstrated that this compound could prevent the buildup of dental plaque, and that active ingredient went into the first popularly sold mouth rinses.
I think you mean mouth baths.
Mouth baths. The first known reference to any mouth rinsing is near current-day India and Nepal around 500 BCE, 2,500 years ago. And then later, the Greek and the Roman periods, mouth rinsing followed mechanical uses to cleanse their mouths. And the ancient Chinese also gargled salt water, tea, and wine as a form of mouthwash after meals due to the antiseptic properties and to cleanse their bad breath.
Can you imagine kissing a motherfucker like before?
Before 1960?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
But again, it's like that was the normal. You probably didn't even notice. Or at least, I mean, by 1960, you probably noticed bad breath. But like back in the old times, like ancient Egypt and shit, and India and all the places you were mentioning before, like I just have a hard time believing you had to have a real stanky mouth, I think, for people to really notice a bad breath. I would think, but
it was astonishing to you, probably in 1900 or before, if you ever came into contact with anyone who didn't smell like shit.
And because everyone smells like shit, you probably just don't even notice.
Right. So you're just used to that. But then you talk to someone whose mouth has like a hinty scent of mint on it, and you just think, I'm going to drop everything I've ever devoted my life to and try to be with that person, because you would probably think that they were like a god or something.
Or goddess.
You would never have been more attracted to an individual than the first person you met with good breath.
I think scent is underrated by humans to its importance for things like attraction.
I agree, brother. I agree.
All right. Well, then you mentioned fungus before. Is that covered somewhere else? Antifungal?
Antifungal cream? Nope. I don't think enough people battle antifungal on the daily to be in the top 10.
What about like bug spray or
that's a bug spray. It's a really good guess. Not on the list.
Anti-itch cream. Okay. What about you? Peroxide is so like anti. What do you call that? Not anti-infection, but like a cleaning. Like a wound cleaning.
Kind of like a hydrogen peroxide, first aid type thing?
First aid, sure, yeah. Is that on here?
No. You could say that one of these is a subset of first aid. So it's first aid for a very particular part of the body.
Your butt.
Not your butt.
Your winky.
Not your winky.
Your giny.
Not your giny.
Your titty.
Not your titty, but you're getting closer.
Your taint.
Not your Not your taint. Not your gooch.
Your clit.
We have listeners Googling words right now to see if they can find out where that is located on the body.
You didn't tell me clit, yes or no on clit?
No, not the clitoris.
All right, so I was close on titty. Then how about...
Well, you were warmer than taint.
Like physically, like as far as on the body?
Yes, like the location. If the body were a map, you got closer with the nipples.
Is it on the head?
Yes.
Eyes, eye drops, contact solution.
Okay. Well, you stumbled upon one on accident I was not trying to lead you towards, so remember those clues after this category. Eye care, eye drops.
Okay.
What number?
9.
You got it. Number 9. 1.
Does that include glasses? Because you said
No.
eye care. Okay.
Just eye drops or like eye lotions. Salves. I guess you could say like an ointment.
I understand.
Good one. 1.7 billion. According to Wikipedia, eye drops are liquid drops applied directly to the surface of the eye, usually in small amounts, such as a single drop or a few drops. No shit. Eye drops usually contain saline to match the salinity of the eye. Drops containing only saline and sometimes a lubricant is often used as, quote, artificial tears to treat dry eyes or irritation, such as itching or redness. Eye drops also can contain medications to treat a wide variety of eye diseases.
You know, what motherfucker, when English language is being developed, said, let's name a part of our body the same fucking letter, the same as a letter in the alphabet?
Yeah, how many combinations of consonants and vowels in English are not taken that we could have called our eye that wasn't also a letter?
Just saying.
Same
Please
for the
go on.
fruit being called the color.
Same with the P, the letter P. Why is it the same? I don't understand. But please go on. I care.
When do you think Visine, which was the first mass-marketed eye drop, when do you think it was released? It was known as Vispring when it first launched.
I'll say the 1960s.
Close, 1958.
Yeah, I wonder when contacts also were invented.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine it would be much further back than the 80s.
I wonder when glasses were invented. I mean, I know it goes way back, prior centuries, but still, it's not like 3,000 years ago they had glasses, I don't think.
I remember learning somewhere that there was some like rudimentary usage of glasses that goes back pretty far. Well, Benjamin Franklin invented the bifocals, so
1286 is when the first recorded pair of glasses were made in Italy. The lenses were made of glass or a crystal-like stone with a handle, so you'd hold them up to your eyes. They didn't stay on your face.
Right.
That means before 1286, there were a lot of people that lived and died before 1286, and they never saw the world clearly.
It was blurry their whole life. That's what I've kind of thought of. It's very interesting to me that so many of us, including myself, have eye prescriptions, because you would think through human evolution, those with bad eyesight would have been weeded out through the generations.
Well, maybe you'd think that if you believe in evolution and you're fucking going to hell.
I'm sorry. A theory. It's a theory.
Wow. Don't you feel dumb?
Now, I remember when this was first announced, but the FDA has warned consumers within the last 2 years not to purchase and immediately stop using over-the-counter eye drops from 26 different companies due to the potential risk of eye infections, vision loss, or total blindness. How shitty.
Yeah.
Just truly.
You've been using this medicine?
Yeah. For this box of eye drops that you wanted to treat your eye problems, itchy, red eyes, and before you know it, a month later, you can't see anymore because somebody fucked up.
Yeah. Sucks. I mean, yeah, you can sue the company and all that, but you still won't be able to fucking see.
Some of these brands were underneath larger umbrellas such as CVS Health, Cardinal Health, Rite Aid, Target, and Velocity Pharma. So these were big name companies that had eye drops that could possibly blind people.
Not in all cases, maybe, but I'll bet in at least some cases, it was just due to negligence. Like someone somewhere knew that there was an issue and they said, ship it anyway. What are the odds?
The FDA also warns people that in some cases, over-the-counter products are marketed that they would treat serious eye conditions like glaucoma, cataracts, retinopathy, or macular degeneration. The FDA wants you to know that no over-the-counter solution is available for those, and you should seek medical advice. Listener, they call me Dr. Buster for a reason. It's because I have a PhD in both podcasting and in psychology and in whooping Nick's ass up and down every 10-ish list. I love to read books dealing with psychology as part of my profession and keeping up with the cutting edge in the field. That's why I've launched a new mini podcast called The Book Buster. That podcast is where I provide quick reviews of the latest psychology and self-help books, just like The Moral Landscape by Sam Harris or Dopamine Nation by Anna Lemke. Each episode provides a review in less than 10 minutes, and I share what I'll be checking out next so that you, listener, can get involved and read that book and experience it before I cover it on the next episode. I hope you'll check it out, and who knows, you might just find your next great read. The Book Buster releases on the third Friday of every month exclusively for 10ish Pod Plus members. Go to 10ishpod, that's 10ishpod.com/plus to get a free 7-day trial. They told me there was nothing free in this life. They were lying. Here, let's recap the list.
Yeah,
Nick
please
has
do.
3 categories to go. So, number 9, we've got eye care. 8, oral antiseptics, aka mouthwash. 6, laxatives. 5, heartburn. 3, toothpaste. 2, oral analgesics, also known as painkillers.
Oral anal?
And 1 upper respiratory. You are missing 10, 7, and 4.
No, 10, 8, and 4.
Nope.
Oral antiseptics was number 8.
Number 8, you got it. God, can you keep the fuck up or what?
Is there anything with the ear?
No, nothing with the ear, but we are still looking for something on the head/face.
Shaving.
Oh, shaving cream, that's a good idea, but doesn't crack the top 10.
Hair care, like shampoo.
Also a good idea. I wonder if it would crack the top 10 and if there's some reason that they didn't include it, but it's not on the list.
Nothing with the hair, like balding even?
Nope.
All right. Something with the face that's not the ears, not the eyes, not the hair. We've already done the mouth.
Well, we did...
Cold sores?
We did gentle stuff. There
Chapstick.
you go.
Fuck, that's my number 1, bro.
Add it to the GoFundMe.
I need GoFundMe for my chapped lips.
You can give Nick Amell his next supply of chapstick.
Well, Buster, you know me. You've known me for, 20 years? I don't go anywhere without my chapstick.
Unfortunately, every painstaking goddamn day I've had to know you. I mean, what?
How many times do you see me whip out the chapstick and fucking start making out with it? Because I love it. All right. And I'm going to go number 7.
Number 7 is correct at 1.95 billion.
I cannot believe chapstick beats things like eye care and
mouthwash.
Mouthwash.
Yeah. Well, Nick, I think you might need to listen closely to this little tidbit. According to dermatologist Amy Derrick, those who have expressed dependencies on lip balm have developed a desire of how the lips feel directly after application. She also mentions that a variety of lip balm flavors may also directly cause lip balm dependency, as a person may want to lick their lips and taste the flavor, which can consequently remove the lip balm coating the lips. This will leave saliva on the lips, which can dry up and make the lips feel even more dry than they initially were. So
this is propaganda.
I've actually brought together today's list just so that we can now have a public intervention of you and address
addiction,
your dependency on lip balm.
Hey, I'm dependent on chapstick, but it's better than being dependent on fucking drugs or alcohol or some of this other shit.
Well,
Fine,
technically, it is an over-the-counter drug. So you are doing drugs, you fucking drug addict.
Hey, fucking arrest me. My kid, when he was, I don't know, maybe 3 or something, he got a hold of some flavored chapstick and fucking started eating it. Fucking dumbass. But yeah, it's not like my chips are my lips are actually chapped anymore. It's just like I like my lips to feel moist and hydrated, right?
You like that post-application feel. It's exactly what the dermatologist was saying. So you're not actually even treating dry lips anymore. You're just trying to maintain that post-application glow.
I'm just trying to get that post-application high, fam.
It is. In the 1800s, Lydia Marie Child recommended earwax as a treatment for cracked lips in her highly popular book, The American Frugal Housewife. She observed that, quote, those who are troubled with cracked lips have found earwax to be successful when others have failed. The invention of lip balm was formally invented in the 1870s by Charles Brown Fleet, and its origins are traced to compounds found in human earwax.
But well, why do you do this?
I mean, it's like, it's different, right?
Well, with the toothpaste and the teeth powder from thousands of years ago, they were using crushed up bones and shit, so at least I'm not doing that. And ashes, they were using ashes and bones.
Charles Brown Fleet later named his invention chapstick.
And he's made billions since.
Nothing for dry lips before 1870, bub, unless you want to just take your earwax and dab it right on the old smackarooners.
I sometimes, when I'm watching like a post-apocalyptic movie or show, sometimes I'm like, fuck, what would I do with that chapstick?
Yeah, it's one of those things I don't notice in movies until someone is like very dehydrated or they've been in the desert and you can see that their lips are super chapped and the skin's coming off, and I'm like sitting there licking my lips like, oh man, I should go put on some chapstick. A cold sore, also known as a fever blister, is a type of herpes infection caused by the herpes simplex virus that primarily affects the lip. Symptoms typically include a burning pain followed by small blisters or sores. I don't get those. But I do get canker sores, which rightfully piss me off. Canker sores are a common condition characterized by the repeated formation of benign and non-contagious mouth ulcers in an otherwise healthy individual. Oh, well, thank you, Wikipedia.
Yeah, I think we need to do a...
Completely understood. but involves a T-cell mediated immune response triggered by a variety of factors that may include nutritional deficiency, trauma, stress, hormonal influences, allergies, genetic predisposition, certain foods, dehydration.
Just fucking anything. Just say it could include fucking anything, and you could be done. You know, it interests me that humans can find a way to get to the fucking moon. We can find a way to fucking, create an atomic bomb. We can find a way to know what part of the brain is responsible for critical thinking, but we can't figure out what causes a canker sore.
Probably one of those things that they annoy people, and then when the canker sore goes away, the scientist is like,
who gives a shit anymore?
let's get back to cancer.
Yeah. Hopefully. Is there anything, probably not. Is there anything with cancer on here? I don't think there's any.
Nothing for cancer. Wouldn't be over the counter.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Are we still on the face? Oh, suntan lotion, sunscreen. Booyah. Number 10.
Booyah. Number 10. He did it again, folks. Sun Care. $1.6 billion annual revenue in America. Nick, tell the folks at home. What is sunscreen?
You put the shit on your body and it helps you for not get burned.
Damn, that's insightful. Did you come up with that on your own?
That's Wikipedia. I got Wikipedia over here.
Well, Wikipedia says it's a photoprotective topical product for the skin that helps protect against sunburn and prevent skin cancer. They are a common supplement to clothing, particularly sunglasses, sun hats, and special sun protective clothing, and other forms of photo protection such as an umbrella.
I was with Dr. Buster recently. This is a true story. And we had suntan. You call it suntan or sunscreen? It's the same thing,
I say
right?
sunscreen.
Sunscreen. We had some lotion to protect us from the sun. And Buster made a special trip to the store, even though we already had the lotion, to get him some spray version because he's a spoiled little bitch.
I'm sorry, folks. That's me. The next time you hear an ozone warning layer on the news, you can partly thank Dr. Buster for choosing to go with the spray sunscreen because I think it does a much better job. I've been burned, literally and metaphorically, on multiple occasions by trying to use lotion sunscreens, and the application doesn't do a good enough job, and I get some ouchies.
Do you want the GoFundMe for you now? Do you need the world's smallest violin for you?
Yeah. So, 2 types of sunscreen, chemical and mineral-based. Chemical sunscreens use organic molecules as for their active ingredients. Chemical sunscreens, they absorb UV rays. Some UV absorbers over the years have been heavily scrutinized because of their levels of toxicity, and a few of them have been banned in places such as Hawaii and Thailand for their negative impact on the ocean and environment.
I think they're talking to you there, bub.
And here's another thing, mineral sunscreen. I get it. I know why we should use it. But I don't use it, fam, because I don't like looking like I just walked through a fucking chalk factory 5 minutes ago. No matter how hard you try, mineral sunscreen is so hard to get sufficiently rubbed in.
So what I'm hearing is, to you, your vain, personal opinion of your own physical looks for a few minutes is more important than the sustainable future of our planet.
Well, the mineral sunscreen is more personal health because like the chemical sunscreens are really bad for your hormonal system and shit.
Well, fuck, I ain't a doctor, bub. I ain't a scientist.
But you are right. You said, Hawaii and Thailand banned UV absorber chemically based sunscreen. So yeah, you're right. It's also bad for the environment.
I'll accept that.
But I don't
apology.
live near an ocean.
So it doesn't bother you personally.
To me, bub.
Yeah. All right, you
Although
Republican.
I do live next to the Great Lakes, but
yeah, and you don't stop bragging about it either. It's like every other fucking word out of your mouth. Hey, did you know I live by the Great Lakes?
We all have our vices, and chemically based spray sunscreen is one of mine.
That's yours, okay. All right, that's a boring vice, but all right. Chapstick protects your lips from the sun as well.
That's true. Most chapstick is SPF 15 sunscreen. If you didn't know, fun fact of the day. Maybe I should just take chapstick and rub it all over my body. It would take longer, but could be better for the environment.
Be more sensuous for the partner that you choose to rub it all over your body.
It'd take 2 minutes just to apply it to my penis. And then the whole party I was hanging out with would be like, hey, are you done? We're ready to go swimming. And I'm like, not yet. I'm just getting started.
And they'd be like, oh, by the way, you don't have to rub it on your fucking penis because it's in your swimsuit.
And I'm like, but without that, the favorite part of applying my chapstick sunscreen would be missed.
We got to move on.
The origin dates for any of these, or even the reason. This one was very surprising to me.
I'm going to say it goes back the furthest. Here's why. Here's my rationale. Don't tell me yet. My rationale is some of this other shit you could, like, our ancient ancestors could have considered a nice to have. Like, yeah, chapped lips sucks, but I can fucking live with that. Yeah, bad breath sucks, but I can fucking live with that. Yeah, I have a fucking tummy ache, but I can live with that. But when you have the sun beating down on you, like, we got to find a solution for this shit pronto. So I'm thinking they found ways to protect themselves from the sun before they worried about some of this other shit. So for that reason, I'm going to say sunscreen. I don't know if it's lotion, but sun care goes back earlier than anything we've talked about so far. Am I right?
I would have guessed the same, but you were wrong.
Okay.
The only reason we developed copper tone sunscreen is that U.S. military service people, as they fought in World War II, were getting burned so badly that the military funded a research campaign. And Benjamin Green, an airman and later a pharmacist, invented Red Vet Pet, which is short for Red Veterinary Petroleum for the U.S. military. And then Coppertone improved and commercialized that substance, and they used the Coppertone girl to market sunscreen to the masses starting in 1952.
Is that the girl getting her swimsuit pulled off?
Yes, which is...
The little girl. I mean, it's like
a very
the cartoon
odd marketing thing. Yeah.
We've all seen that. Yeah. A dog pulling on her bathing suit bottom. Yeah.
I think it's a little weird and inappropriate. I'm not a huge fan.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm a fan. But
as a parent, I don't like that. They could have gone with something else. But just think, before 1952, you could not apply sunscreen and go outside to try to prevent from being sunburnt. That is crazy. And the only reason we have it was because they needed to protect soldiers in World War II. I mean, wild.
It is crazy. I wonder, I would like to see the stats on skin cancer, because on one hand, checkups and detection and things like that was probably lower back then. So it might even out. I don't know. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
I think people were dying from it too. And that's part of the human lifespan getting longer and longer, as all of these preventative products are helping us not get ailments that otherwise would have took us down far earlier.
You just said the word protection, and it reminded me of a thing I had not guessed. What about sex protection? Condoms.
That's a good guess. Not on the list.
Birth control. That's not over the counter.
Not on the list, yeah.
Is there anything sexual related? Tampons? That's not sexual, but that's,
you've got one thing left on the list. And it's not sexual in nature, but you probably should be using it if you want to eventually have sex.
If you want to eventually have sex. I do eventually want to have sex. So what am I using?
Routine, getting ready in the morning.
Oh, deodorant. Okay. Number 4.
Coming in at number 4, $3.1 billion in annual sales. A deodorant is a substance applied to the body to prevent or mask body odor caused by bacterial breakdown of perspiration. For example, in the armpits, groin, or feet. Antiperspirants are used on a wide variety of body parts at any place where sweat could be inconvenient or unsafe, since unwanted sweat can interfere with comfort, vision, and your grip, which I thought was strange.
Hey, where's the lie, bub?
Who's putting antiperspirant on their hands before they go to work and like, I've been losing a lot of grip on my keyboard lately. I'm gonna keep those hands from sweating.
Who are you to shit on people for putting deodorant where they want in their own personal time?
And if you're working outside and you got sweaty hands and you're losing the grip, maybe don't put some deodorant on your hands. Maybe wear some fucking gloves.
But then you got sweat in the gloves and it's uncomfortable. You just can't win with this.
You can't. It sucks. Commercially available non-prescription antiperspirants often contain low concentration of aluminum salt. However, in recent years, the usage of aluminum in antiperspirants and deodorants has been an increasing controversy, questioning whether or not it is safe for long-term daily application.
That's the thing about some of this shit, deodorants and some of the other stuff we talked about, like sunscreen that came around in whatever year, 1952. Like some of this shit hasn't been around long enough for us to understand the long-term pros and cons, right? I don't know. It's just like some of this shit you don't know till you know, right?
Yeah. This one goes further back.
How does it?
1888.
Okay,
First
okay.
modern commercial deodorant called Mum was developed, patented, and sold by U.S. inventor in Pennsylvania.
Again, that guy had to smell his own pits or someone else's pits and been like, we got to do something about this. And how bad must that have been when there's fucking dying horses and shit all over the streets, and you take a bath, every other week, and you don't have toothpaste and you don't have deodorant? How bad does that person's pits have to stink for you to think we got to fix this?
And the first people to buy and use this was revolutionary. It was like every time someone walked in the room, you immediately were greeted by how they smelled. But suddenly, your uncle walks in the room, and you're like, well, I didn't smell you enter the room. Uncle, what are you doing? And he's like, well, here's this handy dandy thing I got called deodorant.
It is interesting, yeah, it is.
But to your point, I think it's super interesting to think about the leapfrogging, like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sunscreen, great. We also find out some of the chemicals we put in sunscreen to prevent all the bad things that happen to us from getting sunburnt. Some of those chemicals are not good for you. They do less harm than a sunburn would, but there's still some harm. So we've got more roads to make. And there's kind of this like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It's interesting to me to think in 100 years' time, what will future generations look back to the common products we use now and say, can you fucking believe they used blank in their deodorant or their shampoo or their sunscreen or their toothpaste? That is crazy, because we'll someday find out how bad it really was for us all along.
No, in 100 years, we'll all be dead. The world will be over. But to that point, and we keep talking about, like, can you believe they didn't have toothpaste till 19 whatever? Can you believe they didn't have chapstick? Like, also, 100 years from now or 1,000 years from now, they're going to be using shit that they'll be like, can you believe no one's used this until the last 100 years, like that we're not even thinking about right now.
Reviewing the top 10 highest selling over-the-counter medicines,
which, by the way, is a mix of medicines, ailments. It's a very inconsistently worded list, but
yes, the categories are inconsistent, but I'm going to blame the Consumer Healthcare Product Association. It's their fault.
Yep.
Write your local congressperson and tell them how upset you are.
Yeah, because the Congress people definitely read that shit. Yes, so go ahead.
Number 10, at $1.6 billion of annual revenue and sales in America, sun care and sunscreen. Number 9, eye care. 8, oral antiseptics, mouthwash. 7, lip and oral treatment. 6, laxatives to prevent and treat constipation. 5, heartburn and indigestion. 4, antiperspirants and deodorant. 3, toothpaste. 2, pain medicine or oral analgesics. And number 1 at $11.6 billion is upper respiratory. So I just want to recap the top 3 in their revenue. Upper respiratory, $11.6 billion. Pain meds, 4.9. I mean, that's less than half. And then toothpaste is 3.6. So upper respiratory, allergies plus cold and flu is a huge industry.
Huge. And this is just America. I mean, these are worldwide industries. How do I word this list, you think, on the episode title? Top 10 best-selling?
Yeah, I'd say best-selling over-the-counter medicines. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Medicines or medications?
Medications. Yep.
Got it.
Yep. Best-selling over-the-counter medications.
Listener, I want to thank you for joining me today. I hope you'll join me next week as well, where Alex Johns will be back bringing me a list for episode number 266. And if you want to hear that episode early before anyone else and with no ads in it, you can listen to that episode early and ad-free, and every week's episode early and ad-free, and get bonus content at tennishpod.com/plus, or you can sign up in the Apple Podcasts app, and either way, you get a free 7-day trial. So I hope you'll check it out. Buster, I need some OTC medicine to recover from this episode. How about you?
You betcha. I would guess that we're talking hours from the next time I'm going to need some more Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah. I'm talking seconds. I'm going to go pop some right now. All right. I appreciate it, bub. I'll see you next time.
Bye.